This is literally the bread and butter issues of the arts and sciences of a movie. And on one
This is in a real sense the bread and butter issues of human expression and studies of a film, and on one hand, it resembles well you realize things aren't as similar. The possibility of the projecting lounge chair that existed in Hollywood is the piece of both fantasy and substantial reality. They simply need to have a level of force. There's likewise individuals that were reluctant to stand up who were casualties that didn't proceed. It's likewise occurring in each and every edge of my industry as well. L as yours, and all through all of Americans, you must hear from everyone so we comprehend how tremendous and how sweeping this was all there was to. It's completely got to change. Since when has this brand of basic courtesy and incredible skill been required to be postponed due to sexual elements in the working environment? So after the Harvey Weinstein charges, Tom Hanks was found out if the way of behaving was normal, and assuming individuals had some awareness of it, and he said, I think there was information among a specific gathering generally who worked with Harvey Weinstein. There are endless ladies who comprehended that happened. He said that everybody just expected what was happening despite the fact that they knew on the grounds that individuals in power truly do any place. There's a supervisor with subordinates in any company or any industry. You have a kind of legislative issues that goes on that can in the middle of between proper morals and dignity. Yet the public began conjecturing that he, at the end of the day, probably been a piece of the set elites when a video of him calling a young lady improperly was uncovered. Music applause. Remember, this is while he is being unyielding that kind of unseemly way of behaving is very commoners that say hello this is the way it works, Purin said, and to this end, I got into, and for this reason I have power. This is the way it works, and you need to comprehend that. In the meantime, the public keeps hypothesizing and connecting him to the said terrible elites with more clue from his virtual entertainment posts that they guarantee show he truly is essential for that gathering. We should not offer the police a reprieve. Music. So could it be that Tom Hanks purportedly doesn't have any desire to be realized? About him, we should get into it. When Tom Hanks plunked down with Jeffrey Brown for a discussion about his most memorable assortment of brief tales, the unbelievable entertainer likewise examined whether or Weinstein's previous way of behaving was a loosely held bit of information in Hollywood. Tom Hanks guaranteed there was information among a specific gathering, for the most part the people who worked with Harvey Weinstein, and that innumerable ladies comprehended that happened while including themselves with Harvey. This struck general society as so odd that somebody could act improperly with others without enduring side effects because of the way that they are elites or individuals with status and power. Tom asserted that there were individuals who said that Harvey was being Harvey, and nobody actually considered discussing what is going on, no matter what the way that the person was hurting a ton of ladies. Jeffrey earthy colored, then asked Tom how serious the circumstance was in Hollywood, whether it was around one individual, one man, or a culture, and from Tom Hanks' reaction, he asserted that it was to a greater degree a culture since everybody needed to become acclimated to it. He said, you and surprisingly, any semblance of individuals on the Turner exemplary motion pictures comprehend that the possibility of the projecting love seat that existed in Hollywood is important for both legend and substantial reality. Tom added that any spot there is a manager with subordinates. In any enterprise or any industry, there is additionally have a kind of legislative issues that goes on that can in the middle of between fitting morals and decency to improper way of behaving to the mark of provocation and ruthless way of behaving. When found out if there is a culture of complicity in Hollywood, where ladies are hesitant to shout out in light of the fact that they will be boycotted, and men are reluctant to shout out of a similar trepidation feeling, that is the way the framework works. Tom affirmed that was the case. I think there are individuals that said, well, hello? This is the way it works, straightforward as can be. To this end, I got into it, and to this end I have power. This is the way it works. And you need to comprehend that Tom asserted that was the way Hollywood carried on with work, and anybody who needed to join ought to know that even in the current days this savage conduct actually wins Valerie. Any spot there's a manager with subordinates in any partnership or any industry, you have a sort of governmental issues that goes on that can in the middle between suitable morals and propriety. He additionally expressed that there's likewise individuals who are right reluctant to stand up, who are casualties who didn't go ahead, who marked and arranged settlement arrangements of which a non-divulgence understanding was a vital part to make sure they could proceed with their work regardless of being badgering. Clearly, the general population has addressed why this conduct is acknowledged in Hollywood and why nobody needs to discuss it. They inquired as to why, following quite a while of ladies experiencing, nobody, not even those with power, stood up and said that it was off base and the culprits ought to be halted. Tom Hanks said this disclosure would have been a tipping point for every one of the frightful culprits, and that individuals will be addressing what they need to tolerate and what they didn't. He said, "Don't be shocked assuming there will be a sign before all of the studio entryways that will say all individuals entering the studio will submit to this implicit set of rules, or they will be accompanied from the premises a video of Tom calling a young 80-hot child began flowing the web, with fans addressing why such way of behaving was permitted regardless of whether deliberately, and why Tom consented to partake in such an unseemly circumstance. Don't stress applause. People in general chose to bring a profound jump into who Tom truly is, and some way or another, the regarded Oscar champ figured out how to energize conflict because of his propensity to make peculiar Instagram posts, typically including irregular articles he has found on his stroke. With more than 9 million Instagram supporters, Tom Hanks positively has a colossal stage with which he can share his uncommon side interests, and one such distraction is taking photographs of lost protests that he finds in various areas. The vast majority of the lost things are gloves, yet in some cases he finds shoes, socks, and, surprisingly, disposed of clipboards, and each post includes a pithy, obscure subtitle closed down with Hanks. The apparently harmless presents have driven on a progression of speculations, with some charging that the posts display Hanks' blatant confirmation of different with ideas that the articles he finds are tokens of said wrongdoings. A few scholars dove profound into Hanks' Instagram chronicles and found an odd picture posted on July 18, 2016, where he shared an image of a glove he found lying on the ground in Red Fain, California. In the subtitle, Hanks composed, "Give me 5 anyway." In the image close to the glove, the words SRCUSA gave off an impression of being scribbled on the ground, and during the beginning of the paranoid fear, numerous web-based entertainment clients, including Redditors, revealed that when they looked through the SKU codes of the thought things on the Russian web search tool Yandex alongside SRC, USI, the list items supposedly delivered pictures of young ladies, the public presently begun asserting that there was something else to Tom Hanks besides what he was letting on, with others talking about that even his VIP circle companions had a few soil about them. The circumstance deteriorated when both Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson authoritatively became residents of Greece, with some asserting that he was there to proceed with his unlawful business with younglings. The couple modeled for an image with their new travel papers close by. Greek head of the state Kyriakos Mitsotakis and his better half and the PM posted the image on Instagram. Hanks and Wilson are presently pleased Greek residents, he composed. Greek media said the gathering occurred on the island of Antiparos, and that Hanks, Wilson, and their kids were conceded privileged Greek citizenship for their job in focusing on a staggering fierce blaze close to Athens in July 2018.